Hi everyone, it's Little Mama Liv. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my 20-week scan and my whooping cough vaccination that I had both of them yesterday. I know literally in my first video I said that I didn't want to talk about coronavirus much, but it's actually probably going to feature quite a lot in this video because I was in a hospital and it did play a big part in my experience in my scan. So if it's something that you don't want to hear about, then maybe skip this one. But I thought it was quite important to talk about exactly what to expect if you have a scan coming up or an appointment like that coming up. Obviously, every hospital will be different, but I'm just going to talk you through what's happened with me in my hospital and how I felt about it all as well. I also found out the gender, which was really exciting, something I've been looking forward to for a long time. I'm also aware, I'm just going to say, I'm also aware that in my last video I was like dressed in like a little blue top with a little embroidered lemon on and pink lipstick, and today I'm for some reason dressed like Vampira, but hey, that's my style. You may have to get used to that one. Anyway, so yeah, yesterday it was my 20-week scan. I was 20 weeks and 4 days pregnant. My due date is the 31st of August. I've had this scan booked in for quite a long time now, and I've been really looking forward to it. But obviously, it's had to be a bit different this time. I found out not that long ago actually that my partner would not be allowed to come with me to the scan, which is a real shame. It is a real shame because he really loves seeing the baby. I think it's hard for him because I can feel the baby. I'm at the stage now where I am feeling the baby kicking a lot. He hasn't really been able to feel that. He thinks he maybe felt it once, but he's not 100% sure. And I think it's so much easier for me to bond with the baby in my tummy than it is for him. So it's a shame that he couldn't see it at this stage. This is actually our third scan because when I found out I was pregnant, it was at 6 weeks, and we were going to have to wait till 12 weeks to have our first NHS scan. And we honestly just couldn't wait. It felt like not enough to just have a pregnancy test telling me that I'm pregnant. It was like I needed to see what was going on inside me. So I actually booked a private scan with Baby Bond, their ultrasound direct, I think. There's a lot of those around the UK, and that was lovely. Had a really lovely scan at 8 weeks. It was only a little bean, but you could see it. It was nice. And yeah, and then I had my 12-week scan as well, which my partner was able to come to. But this would be, I knew this was going to be a long one. I'd kind of looked on forums and stuff, and they'd said that it would be about a 30-minute appointment. So I was really excited to see everything and how my baby had grown. It felt like a long time since I'd last seen my baby at all. But yeah, so Julian he decided to drive me there. He decided to still come with me. So he drove to the hospital. They'd waived parking payments as well in the hospital, which was really nice as well. It's just a nice touch. They'd also waived the price of the photos for the scan. I guess it's just to kind of help us all out in this time. Yeah, so he parked up and sat in the car park. I'd brought with me a mask to wear because I was quite paranoid about it, going to a hospital where I was pretty sure, I think there are confirmed cases in that hospital as well, so I was a bit nervous, and I just wanted the best thing for me and my baby, really. So I went in with a mask. Julian helped me put it on in the car, and then I felt so weird because, like, walking up to the hospital doors, there were a few people walking around the car park, and none of them had any masks, like no masks at all on, and I was a bit like, and mine was proper one that goes under your chin and up around your nose and everything. My dad got it for me. I think it's possibly one that's used in chemicals because he works in a lab, so I'm assuming it's one of those. But it looked extreme, and like everyone else didn't even have like the little blue ones or anything, and it was like I looked weird, and I was like, don't take it off, don't take it off. please still carry on wearing it because it is so important. And it reassured me because as soon as I went in, so when I went in, I was stopped by, there was a table literally like a few steps away from the front doors that said stop here in red. And it said sanitize your hands, which I did, and fill in this form in front of you. So there was a form that essentially said, have you had any of these symptoms? And it was, the continuous cough or a fever. Tick no. Has anybody in your household had any of these symptoms? No. Have you had contact with anyone with these symptoms? No. And then once you'd filled in your form, you walked a couple of steps forward. There was like a trail. You walked a couple of steps forward, and there were two lovely nurses standing there to take my form and check that I hadn't put yes on anything. And they said, right, we're going to take your temperature. And they actually said, oh, you've got a really good mask on. And I was like, yeah, thanks. It made me feel a bit better about it. They were like, yeah, that's one of the best ones we've actually seen. So that made me feel better about wearing it, even though I still did feel really silly. And I also felt really guilty that actually the nurses themselves only had those blue ones. And it was just, I felt weird about that I technically had a better protection than the nurses. But I'll get to that later. And yeah, they took my temperature, the little thing that they put in your ear, they did that, and my temperature was fine. And obviously if your temperature is fine, then they let you through to reception. So went through to reception, and my appointment was at 8:30 in the morning. And after isolating for a long time and having a lot of long lie-ins, that was early, but I was just so excited, so it didn't really matter to me. But I was actually the first person in the waiting room, and they'd spaced all the chairs apart, so they were like at least 2 meters apart so that nobody could sit close to each other or anything, so everyone could practice social distancing. And there was also a like little spots lined out on the floor so that you couldn't queue too close together as well. But there was no queue, it was literally me, and the shutter was down on the reception thing as well, so like I just kind of had to sit there. And then while I was waiting, a few other people came in and sat in the other chairs and stuff. I thought it was funny because like there were 4 other people in the waiting room with me during my appointment time and everything. And only one other person was wearing a mask, but she one of the other ladies stopped to ask her a question, and she took her mask off to talk and then put it back on again. And it was like, right, that's not how masks work. That's actually the opposite of what you want to be doing there. But yeah, so again, I still felt a bit silly with my mask on like that, but never mind, it was all for a good reason, and I was doing it correctly and not taking my mask off to talk. So yeah, and then got called to reception. They kept like a good distance between me and everything. And I think it was probably on about bang on 8:30. They called me in for my ultrasound. And what are they called? The nurse that was doing the scan. I know they have a proper name, but it's absolutely gone from my head right now. The scan technician person. She came and sat me down. She was lovely, really nice, really reassuring. She didn't mention anything to do with coronavirus as well, which was actually just nice. She didn't mention my mask, she didn't mention anything. She was just like, as if nothing had changed, which was really reassuring, really nice actually. And she sat me down on the bed and everything, and if you've ever had a scan before, they rub this like cold jelly stuff on you, and it's really weird. But I was kind of used to it now. And I actually had to share the screen with her. Usually when I've had a scan before, the screen is like either next to you or in front of you. The first one I had, the screen was in front of me, which I didn't actually like because I felt like I was like this. I was like lying on my back and trying to look at it like with a triple chin. And then my next one I had, the scan was next to me, so I was just like looking to my side like that. This one, I don't know why, but she only had one screen, and that was the screen that she was using. So she said, you're just going to have to share my screen. So it's a little bit difficult to see, but it was okay. I could still see a lot. One thing that I wasn't prepared for was actually how little I would be able to see. And when I think about it, that actually makes a lot of sense, because my baby is so much bigger now. In my last scan, it fit the screen size. It filled the screen, but now it kind of only filled half the screen when you're actually looking at the baby. And the first thing that they showed on the scan when they put the little thing on my belly, the first thing that came up was a bum. It was just like butt right there. And like, yeah, and she was like, okay, so it's sitting that way. And then she looks at each individual little bit of its body. They go through like a whole checklist of stuff. They look at its brain, they look at the chambers of the heart. It's amazing. You can see all 4 chambers of the heart going boom, 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 boom. You can see all the little bones. They count all the vertebrae in its spine. It had it kept showing its little feet. It had 2 little feet that kept coming up, and they checked for, I think it's for cleft lip. They had to do like an angle up from there, and you could see its little nose, which was really cute. Yeah, but then when it actually came to like seeing the baby, she was trying to get a good angle of it on my tummy, and it was really difficult because it's such a big baby. And like, it wasn't playing ball. It really was not playing ball. She had to shake my belly to get it to like move into the right position. And it's funny because sometimes I like jiggle my belly to try and get it to kick and stuff. Julian, my boyfriend, is always like, oh no, leave it alone, don't do that, you shouldn't do that and stuff. She honestly shook my belly like, you know those fortune-telling balls? Like the 8 balls that like you shake to get a fortune-telling out of it? That was like how she shook my belly. It was like, whoa, to try and make it move. And I was like, okay, that's good, because I have been doing it a little bit like that, but I've not been doing anything like that. And if she can do that, then we're fine. It's perfectly safe in there. It's all, yeah, all protected. So yeah, she gave it a good jiggle and it still refused to move. It was not playing ball. And she said, do you want to know the gender? And I said, yes, I do. And she said, the reason I'm asking is I don't think I can see it. And I was like, oh. And in my head, I was just like, oh no, because we'd been looking forward to it, and we'd had a little plan of how to do a gender reveal as well to all of our family. Now we're isolating and stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go back to the car to Julian and tell him that I don't know the gender. And I kind of hadn't thought of it as a possibility, but of course it's a possibility, because the baby doesn't always have to be sitting in the right position or anything like that. But yeah, so she shook it around again, she jiggled me about and tried to make it move, and she just about managed to get like an underneath shot. And she said, yeah, I think it's a girl. So she was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a girl. They looked underneath, and she said there's like, I didn't really understand what I was looking at, but she said there's like 3 little lines that show female genitalia, is how she worded it. I'm guessing that makes sense. Yeah, but I couldn't really, it was really hard to see what she was actually pointing at. But yeah, she said that's usually what we see in girls, and she said, I think it's a girl. And so it was like, yes, it's a girl, and like, I was fine either way. I was fine with whatever it was going to be. It was just a bit weird that she was like, I think it's a girl, and I'm like, oh. Like, I hope it is now, because then if I go and buy girly stuff and it comes out a boy, then I don't know. To be fair, I've mostly been buying lots of gender neutral stuff anyway, and once we found out it was a girl, I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at clothes and stuff, and the actual stuff I bought was like not a single bit of pink at all. So it's like, I don't think it's gonna be too much of a problem if it does come over as a boy. But we think we might have another private scan once this is all lifted, just to double check, because it would be bad if we told everyone it was a girl and it wasn't a girl. But pretty sure it's a girl. She was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a girl. I think it's a girl. So we were like, okay. And I know they're not allowed to set it in stone, because you could like sue them and stuff. So they're absolutely not allowed to set it in stone. So I feel like she's just being overly cautious. But she did say she thinks it's a girl. So we have a girl. And that was lovely. And yeah, she printed off quite a lot of photos. They were, as I said, they were probably the worst photos we had out of the 3 scans that I've had because of how big the baby was. But you can still see everything. They do this. I've seen these before because I've known people who've been pregnant before and they've shown me them. But they do like a scan that goes like through their skull, and there's this really weird shot where it's like halfway through its skull and it just looks like a really scary skeleton. It looks like a demon. So yeah, I've got that one as well. But it's just so cute, and there's one of its little foot. I've got a photo of its little foot as well. And yeah, it's just a really lovely experience and just really happy with it. And everything is absolutely fantastic, absolutely normal. Everything was bang on normal. She said, like, they measured the waist, they measured the skull, they measured everything, all completely normal, which is really, really reassuring. I thought everything would be all right because it's been moving around a lot. I've been looking after myself and things like that. I'm quite young. I thought it would be okay, but there's always, whenever you go for a scan or an appointment like this, there's always that little niggling thing in the back of your head that you think, oh my god, what if they put the thing on my tummy and there's no heartbeat or something like that. There's always that. So it was really reassuring to hear that everything was okay, all was good. And she actually said, she said, that's a really nice baby. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. And then obviously after that, I'd elected to have my whooping cough vaccine. I do want to say about this as well that I definitely believe that you should be getting the vaccine. I know, like, 2 people out of the 4 people that were in there with me decided not to have their vaccine, and I was a bit like, and I can't help but think that it's because it's a whooping cough vaccine, and the word cough really scares people at the moment. And a lot of people think that the vaccine will give you the cough, and it won't. It absolutely won't. And whooping cough is like, it can be deadly to babies. It can. And so I just wanted to do the best for my baby. And so obviously it's your decision what you want to do. But I chose to have the whooping cough vaccination. One thing I will warn you as well, it hurts. I mean, obviously everyone's different. It might not hurt for you. But she said when she was getting my arm ready and everything, if you don't like talking needles, then maybe skip ahead a little bit. But she was getting my arm ready and she said you might feel a little bit of achiness and bruising afterwards. And I was like, oh no, this is gonna hurt. And it did. It was like, because I had my flu vaccination last time and that was nothing. I was like, beep, bring, done. But this was owie. It was like, it didn't hurt so much going in, it was like coming out, it really hurt, and then afterwards it really hurts. It still hurts now, and I had it yesterday, and there's like, it just feels like achy and swollen. And actually, I did feel a bit unwell afterwards. I was a bit like, particularly exhausted, and my muscles felt a bit achy. And they gave me the leaflet for the vaccine, and it said very common side effects like achiness, soreness, fatigue. So I was like, okay, that is just what happens. And it made me a little bit nervous, but the thing is, like, what would I rather have? Feeling a bit bleh for a few hours, or my baby having a really serious illness? So, like, it is worth it in the end. You have to think about that when you have, like, side effects like that. And I feel a lot better today. It's still a little bit achy and sore, but the tiredness and the achiness in general has gone away. So it's fine, I don't mind that at all. And yeah, the nurse was really lovely. She went through all my maternity notes and everything, and yeah, and then that was it. And I made sure I'd like sanitised everything and done everything I was meant to do. And then I went back out to the car to Julian and told him we were having a little girl, and he was so happy about it. He was so excited. I think he's a little bit nervous because obviously, like, a boy having a girl, he wants to make sure, I don't know, I feel like, because I felt the same, that, I mean, I'm an outright feminist, but I would say that I feel more comfortable, being a girl, I would feel more comfortable having a girl. And I think with a lot of men it's the same, they would feel more comfortable having a boy, but he's really, really jumped to the idea, and he's just so happy to be having, like, I keep telling him, like, you're gonna have a little daughter, and yeah, he's so over the moon about it, and so am I. I'm so happy about it. And we've told pretty much everyone now, I think. Yeah, so that was my experience. It was not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what the changes would be like. I didn't know what it would be like going to a hospital in this kind of climate. I didn't know. But it was absolutely fine, and it was so nice, and it's so nice to have the photos. The thing I just want to finish this on is saying that the mask that I had to wear, well, I didn't have to wear it, but the mask that I chose to wear for my scan, it's the same as, it's a bit different to the ones that just have two little bits that go behind your ears. It actually had two straps, so it had one that went round the back of your head and one that went over your ears like that. But I must have been wearing it for between half an hour to an hour, and my ears were just killing me. Like, and I wear glasses as well, so you'd think I'd be used to having stuff behind my ears, but like, just here it was really, really hurting and really sore, and it had gone red, and I was like, oh god, that all of the nurses and all of the midwives and everyone in all of the staff were having to wear the masks. The receptionist wearing a mask, everyone wearing a mask. And I could barely handle it wearing it for like an hour, let alone like shift after shift. They must have to do long shifts, and they'll be back again doing it. They'll probably be doing it today. I don't know if they have scans on Saturdays, but you know what I mean. They're working long shifts, continuously trying to help us out. And I can't imagine how sore that must be on your ears. And I know it has been reported. I've seen it on Facebook a few times that people are really struggling. So what I've decided to do is make some little, I've seen quite a lot of different patterns. I've seen headbands, I've seen little clip things, but I crochet quite a lot, and so I've decided to crochet some of these little, this is like not finished, but it's a little prototype I did. These little things that go on the back of your head, and essentially I haven't put the buttons on yet, but 2 buttons go there, and put them on the back of your head, and then the little bands hook onto the buttons rather than behind your ears, so it saves your ears a bit of discomfort. So I wanted to make, I'm like on a little making rampage at the moment, making as many of these as I can, just to help out the lovely people that did help me out yesterday. Obviously I'm going to be donating them to my hospital's obstetrics and gynecology ward. Obviously I know that there's a lot of places that need it, but I'm only one person, so, and they're the ones that affected me, so I want to donate it directly to them. But yeah, I want to make as many as I can, and if anyone wants to make anything like this, there's a lot of things on Pinterest. You can Google it as well. There's loads on Facebook. One thing that I would tell you though is that I spoke to somebody else who had made them and had them all rejected because they weren't cotton. Because essentially they need to be 100% cotton so that they can be sterilised, they can be washed and sterilised, because obviously they can't just accept random stuff from random people in the current climate. They need to be useful in that. So I actually found, I had this 100% cotton yarn, and this is actually for use as dishcloths. So it's designed to be like, it's designed to withstand high temperatures, it's designed to withstand washing. I know it's not the prettiest in the world, but they're more functional, and they're going to be like, I've got a few like nice buttons as well, so they won't look awful, but that's not the point of them. And so I'm hoping that because I've made these out of proper nice 100% cotton material, that they will be accepted and that they can use them nicely, and they can use them again and again, and they can wash them and whatever. I'm really hoping that. I know it was originally, I had in my head of like doing them rainbow colours and things like that, but the cotton that I have is this plain colour. But as I said, they're more functional than pretty. And I'll probably like write a nice little note in there with them as well. But I just hope that can help a bit, because it must be awful. It really must be awful for them having one thing, just having to work right now in these conditions, they must be so scared of everyone that's coming in. As I said, like, nobody was wearing masks. Some people weren't practicing social distancing. Some people just weren't being very conscious of it, and they must get that all day, every day, and then they're getting these really sore ears from it. It must be awful. They were really upbeat. They were really lovely. They were like, I could hear them behind reception having such a laugh between each other, and it like must be nice to have that community. But I imagine they are also really scared and really having a hard time with it. So I just wanted to give back a little bit to the people that were so nice to me yesterday. As I said, if you want to do your own, then there's lots of tutorials and things, but just make sure you're using 100% cotton. That was my experience. Hope you enjoyed my story. I know probably everyone will have a different experience, and obviously different hospitals will deal with things different ways. One thing that was different was that I've heard some people saying that they let them go in and film the scan, but ours strictly had a sign saying like, no photography, no videoing, turn your phone off when you go into the scan room. So obviously, like, some people were able to Zoom, like, their like web chat their scan to their partner and their family. We were not able to do that, but I think that is different in every hospital, so it's just worth asking beforehand if you're allowed to do that. We weren't. But anyway, we had a really lovely time anyway, and as we said, we think we might get a private scan later on, just so that Julian can have a look and he can see our little daughter and to also double check it's a daughter. I'm pretty sure it's a daughter, but so really exciting, and hopefully I'll see you again soon in the next video. Thanks, bye!